I've gone through quite a transformation when it comes to my music and my overall creative work. It is something that I've fought for and I've stuck with, and I've grown tremendously throughout the process. So I wanted to share with you what are the things that I consider best practices and tips when it comes to launching something, whether that be music, screenplay, YouTube channel, some type of product launch. These are the tips that have resonated. I would say take what I say with a grain of salt because I'm very much still in the middle of building the momentum for this. I'm sure I'll have updated lessons later after I truly have established what I'm looking to establish. But my 10 tips for launching something are: time is of the essence. Making the most of any given moment at any particular point in time is critical. And that doesn't mean necessarily working more or working harder. Sometimes it literally is like, I need a nap and I need to pick back up on this later. But trying to make the most of your time using the landscape that you see in front of you and what your body is telling you about what it needs has really allowed me to become a lot more efficient at what I do. It's really about knowing yourself, but time is of the essence. If you are investing in yourself and in a creative project or something that you're passionate about, I would say divide up your spending. In other words, don't put all of your eggs into one basket because you don't yet know what is going to work. So if you put all your resources into this one thing that's supposed to deliver, what happens if it doesn't, right? So it's about diversification of assets, diversification of investments. That's actually what they teach you in personal finance. Diversification of assets is good. So I sort of took that concept that I learned back in school and applied it to this in terms of where I am putting my resources. But the point for me is I put my resources and my money where my mouth is. The next thing is to believe and to know that you are enough. There are always going to be people that want you to think that you're not enough or you're not talented or you don't deserve it. But I'm here to tell you that those people are wrong. If you put in the work and you grow, you are worth it, and you should never stop fighting for your dreams. And that is exactly what I'm doing, trying to lead by example, because sometimes I tell myself stuff that I have to follow through with, and that is one of those things. Sometimes you have to tweak an approach, for sure. And I'll give an example of this in how I've done this with my own musical project, and there's actually a lot of different examples of this. But one simple one, because I consider myself a recording artist, the art is in the recording, is playing with different ways to record songs. So sometimes I might do it 10 times in a row, see what's the best take, piece it together based on which parts of each take I like from the studio. But other times, if we're doing a different type of song that is maybe less formulaic or less accustomed to what a listener's ear is used to hearing, I might just go through it all the way with passion and realize that it is good enough on the first take. I tweak my approach to things so that I can grow in what I do. And so I think that can actually be applied to any business, to any creative endeavor, and it's just something that I've picked up along the way. You can do a lot more than you ever thought possible if you put your mind to it. And yeah, that can sound corny, like put your mind to it, you can do anything. But in my experience, it's very true. I never knew that I could write a song from start to finish, from beginning to end, and actually put it into something that turns out cohesive. And now I've written over 100 songs, and I've already started planning my next project after Love Different. And really, what they say about those 10,000 hours is not a joke. It starts to get easier and easier. And I don't just think of this in terms of the music either. This is true even when I was on the phone doing cold calls for insurance, it was like the first call was always like, oh my God, I can't do this, or I'm so bad at it. But you fight through it, you do it, and you get better. That's how we develop confidence as humans. Some people are just born with the confidence and they come out and they got it all, and that's great. And I applaud those people. But for me, when I do something, I build confidence as I do more of that thing. And then that is how I learn, and that is how I grow. So wanted to share that with you. Take it or leave it. Luck is actually the midway point of preparation meeting opportunity. So in other words, if I had started this Love Different project, but I hadn't developed my skill set yet, and I hadn't grown as a songwriter or as a vocalist, and I didn't know my way around the studio and how to talk in bars and how to talk in effects and how to speak the same language as someone that has done this for a long time, then I wouldn't have been able to take advantage of this opportunity to meet this person that I'm working with in the moment. And it really has been magical, the whole process. But if I hadn't done the work leading up to that, in other words, if I hadn't written and recorded demos of the songs, if I hadn't evolved my thinking around the different types of sounds that we use, then I never would have been able to create this music and for it to actually sound better than the last song did. That's always my goal, is to have this one sound better than the last one. That's how I think about improvement. Again, take it or leave it, but I think it can be helpful to anything that we do. I think the only failure that you can have in life is if you give up. That's literally it. Because otherwise, otherwise you keep going until it's successful. So that's how I think about failure, is mostly as lessons. Because as long as I don't quit on myself, then I am going to achieve my goal, because I'm going to find a way. When there's a will, there's a way. Another corny saying, but I found there to be a reason that people say it, because it's very, very true. You have to not give up, not back down. People are gonna criticize you every step of the way, everything that you do, but as long as you don't give up on yourself, you will come out the victor. And I intend to prove that with what I'm doing, and I believe it in the depths of my soul to be true. The next one, and this brings me back to 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, is knowing your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why do you want what you want? And for me, in this current project that I'm doing, it's really about the messages that I'm crafting for the songs. I've always thought that lyrics and songs are extremely important, extremely beautiful. And so for me, it's really about the messages of uplifting, sharing what I've learned along the way, talking about experiences from a new perspective. And this fits with my overall life purpose as well. This isn't something that I just pulled out of the hat and I was like, oh, today I think I'll try music. No, music has always uplifted me, and I want to be able to do the same for others. If they can use my songs to help themselves out of a sticky situation, or if it inspires them to create their own song or something else that you're working on, it's a way that I actually want to give back, for real. That is my why, is me offering myself and my heart and my soul to the world, hopefully in a way that people can use it to better their own lives, as I have been the receiver of that on my side through listening to music and various other channels as well. So I think it is important to know why you're doing what you're doing. You don't have to, and you can develop it over time. Purpose also can come through action, but I think if you know why you're doing it, it's going to go a lot better for you, a lot quicker, is my instinct. But I will keep you posted on my own story, and I would love to know about how this applies in your life. Number 9 is about connecting. And this seems like something that's obvious, but It's not always obvious. We live in a very siloed world that is separated by technology and being on our phones all the time. And so connecting is not always as obvious as we might think that it is. And so I'm talking about in-person connecting where you can pick up the phone and talk to an actual person, not just a robot, and really seeking out mentorship and guidance if you need it in your trusted endeavor. And so I've received this in a number of ways, and I just think it's so important that we can't overlook it when we're trying to launch something, because relying on expertise that comes from people who have done it before is invaluable. You can't put a price on that. I always seek to learn from people who are better than me. There are always gonna be people that are better than me. There are always gonna be people that are better than you. And my mindset is that I wanna surround myself with those people who are better than me, because I have something to learn from them, and hopefully I can teach them something too. It's a value exchanged by being in each other's presence. And that's how I think about it. So connecting is extremely important. Finally, I would say enjoy what you do. Enjoy what you do. I have a new song coming out that touches on this topic, but basically joy is so important, and I think that our world sometimes is lacking in it. And I know that the campaign that I'm rooting for is all about joy in terms of the politics, but this is true for anything in life that you do. When you can bring joy to a situation, when you can laugh even in all the heaviness that you feel and try to find light in any situation, it's medicine for the soul. It really is. Laughter is the best form of medicine, in my opinion, above all and everything else. And so I would just say, when you can also enjoy what you do, that is something that is priceless. Nobody can put a price on that. And I'm trying to think. And there will always be parts of what we do that we don't enjoy. We can't enjoy everything, right? Like, this is the real world. There's always gonna be parts of what we do that we don't like. But where we can bring joy into that, maybe sometimes even seeing the humor in a frustrating situation. I always try to do this to myself, like give myself self-deprecating humor, or see the irony and just laugh at it so that I don't have to cry. That to me is making the moment better, making the moment bearable, and just humbling myself and realizing that I cannot like every part of what I do. So those are my 10 tips. I might do an updated version after I've achieved some of the things that I'm seeking out to achieve. But I wanted to share that with you because much of that does come from my personal experience of doing the work and launching this musical project called Love Different, which is very near and dear to my heart. And anything else I can share with you along the way, I will.